A picture is insignificant, doesn't mean anything, but because it has been a practice of the idolaters to face before pictures or idols, statues, so this similarity becomes intolerable for a man who believes in only one God, who believes in bowing to nothing but one God. La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. There is no object worthy of worship, none worthy of worship except Allah. So the picture detracts your attention and reminds you of those stupid, ignorant days when man used to bow to pictures. So it's better to remove it altogether. Right? Thank you.
Are we allowed to learn to play the musical instruments in school? Example, flute, guitar, piano, keyboard, drums.
No, tell me what he says.
Are we allowed to play musical instruments like guitar, piano, etc.?
Ask your parents. You see, as far as these things are concerned, I have repeatedly tried to make Ahmadis understand that you should not ask these questions which happen to lie on the fringes of do's and do nots in public, so that if you hear an answer in no from me, a categorical no, then it will become very difficult for all of you to follow that, and if you after hearing me don't follow that, then it will be a sort of defiance. And if you do not over much emphasize these things and try to keep away from music as far as possible, then take this edict from your own self. Ask yourself whether it is good in the ultimate effect or bad. When you think over these things, then the answers will appear to you yourself, themselves, by your concentration. And that will take a long time. You don't belong to that age group where you can answer all these questions. So I don't want to get involved in a long philosophical discussion or long discussion of this and that, do's and do nots, at this level with a child like you, right? So that is why I said, why don't you ask this question your parents? Their answers will remain limited to the house. But if I answer this question in clear cut, then this answer will be carried throughout the world. And it may lead the Jamaat to many difficulties. You understand? So you better withdraw your question. Right? Good. Rahmatullah.
Why is the first bit which was revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam not the first bit of the Quran?
Why the what?
Was the first bit which was revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam not at the beginning of the Quran?
Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq.
Why was it in the beginning of the Quran, that part?
You see, the Holy Quran, as we find it today, is not arranged chronologically in the order of its revelation. It is reported in a hadith that the Holy Quran was revealed from time to time according to the dictates of the demand of the time and requirement of the time. But this was not to be the permanent order of the verses or surahs. So Jibreel alayhi salam, that is referred to as Holy Ghost in Christianity, whenever he came with some verses of the Quran to Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he also told him where these verses should be put. And constantly he was reminded of the order of the verses and the beginning of the chapters and the ending of the chapters, and in what order those chapters should follow each other. So all these instructions were given by Hazrat Rasul Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam to his companions and to the scribes who used to write the Quran. So after the demise of Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there were so many companions who remembered the Holy Quran by heart, and also who had learnt the order of verses, and not only the verses but the order of the surahs from directly Hazur Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam or from other companions who had learnt this from him. Right? So after the demise, there was a danger of people confusing things and forgetting this and leaving posterity some huge confusion regarding the Quran. So to meet this threat and to offset this, Hazrat Usman Razillah Ta'ala Anhu, the third caliph, decided to have all the Quran collected, written on various parchments, sometimes on bones, sometimes on skins, leaves, etc., etc., and to gather all those who had learnt the Quran from Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and also the scribes who had written it. So it was a long, thorough investigation which started and ended in his time, with the result that finally a consensus was reached among all the companions of the Holy Prophet that this is as we received it from the Holy Prophet. He not only told us to read it like this, but he also told us where to put this verse and where to put a certain surah, etc. So it was a great blessing of Allah that Hazrat Usman thought of this, and I'm quite sure the thought didn't appear to him. It came from Allah. It was so ordained, so planned by Allah, that the Quran is left in a manner where it is beyond a shadow of doubt. A book of authenticity and an authentic book. So that is how it happened. So now you know what happened. The verses were revealed in different order, but at the same time, Allah, through the agency of Archangel Jibreel, conveyed to Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallam the real order in which it should be handed down to posterity. That will be a permanent order. And it is in that order that we read the Quran today. The word Iqra is the first, but in that surah in which you find Iqra, before that you read Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So this was the new order of things in which we find the Quran, and this is a very profound order in which there is so much depth of meaning. So I can't speak on everything relating to that now, but have you understood my answer?
Yes.
Clearly? To the extent that you can tell others what I have told you?
Yeah.
MashaAllah. And how's Rashid Sahib? And your mother? And your grandfather in Bangalore?
He's alright as well.
Huh?
He's alright as well.
As well.